Warning, Onyx XCN may not be what you think it is. In this video, we are going to dive deeper into Onyx XCN. More importantly, we're going to dive deeper into Chain.com and their CEO, Deepak Thapliyal. So there's a lot of mystery around Chain.com, Onyx XCN, and even more mystery around their CEO, Deepak. So in this video, we're going to uncover some things that I think is vital for you to know. For anybody that watched this previous video, my first part of Onyx XCN, there's a lot of good information in there, but it also can be misleading when we look at the other side of the coin here. So this is where doing your own research is very important, because yes, there might be a lot of good information out there. There's also some information we need to be looking at to make sure that what we're investing our money in makes sense to do so. So thank you to everybody that watched that previous video. I hope you enjoyed it. We're going to clarify a couple of things that I stated in that video that I need to get you guys up to date on, because it may have been misleading. So I want you to understand that when you're investing in projects, don't take our word for it. And when I say our word for it, people on the internet, please go do your own research, because these things are very complex and it can be very confusing. So let's go ahead and jump into the first part of it, which I'm going to point out is going to be Onyx XCN, because this is something crucial to understand about this project, how it ties to Chain.com and their CEO, Deepak. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into it. Check out your screen here. This is onyx.com or .org, I'm sorry. So if we look at Onyx and we scroll down, a lot of their players and a lot of their weight behind this seems to come from the Onyx XI, but they're still tied to Chain, which is Chain.com now. In that last video, we did go into Chain.com and the history and how that all came about. So that's where that good information definitely comes from, is you get the history behind Onyx XCN, how it came about through Chain.com, through Stellar, etc. So anybody that watched that, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't watched it, go back and watch it. But let's move on to Chain.com, and this is what I want to start really bringing these warnings out behind Onyx XCN and Chain.com, because if Onyx XCN is still listing Chain.com on their official website, it may be concerning once we uncover the other side of this information. So let's go ahead and jump into Chain.com, and what I'm looking at more or less is the Chain Prime. So when we go into Chain.com, you'll see that you will have Chain Prime is still listed. Let me bring this up for you guys. I'm moving the wrong thing over. Let's go to Chain.com here. You'll see right here, this is their website, which is this Chain.com. They still have Chain Prime listed. This is concerning, and you're asking, okay, well, why this is concerning? Well, check it out here. This is also on their website, and I want to read this real quick for you guys to kind of give you an update what's going on. It says Chain Prime initially launched as a key component of Chain's expansion into B2C blockchain solutions, has distinguished itself as a comprehensive institutional trading platform. Chain Prime primarily served accredited investors and institutions, providing advantage such as low slippage, near zero fees, and substantial liquidity for large digital asset trades. This service played an integral part of Chain's vision to elevate the Web3 experience for businesses and investors alike. Following a calculated change in strategy, Chain Prime plans to discontinue its brokerage service and transition to development and launch of a dedicated trading as service platform. This new direction will equip clients with a sophisticated trading engine and software stack, enabling them to establish their own end-to-end crypto trading brokerage integrations. So why is this important? Why am I reading that? Well, they dissolved the Chain Prime brokerage, but yet when you go back to Chain.com, they still list their Prime brokerage as a service. They did not remove that. And as we start going into Chain.com more, we start to notice that Chain.com is pretty much outdated. There's not a lot of new information on that website. Everything seems to be done around the 2022, 2023 era. So why haven't they updated their website? And if you look into it furthermore, they also do not provide any kind of their leadership on the website. So that should be concerning for anybody that's investing in their project. And again, I'm not trying to sway you one way or another. On this channel, it's called Decrypting Crypto for this reason. I want to break down these projects and kind of dive into behind the scenes of things so everybody gets the full picture of these projects. I'm going to bring you both sides, the good and the bad, because there's both stories out there, especially when it comes to XCN. And if you haven't already, please consider hitting that like button, leaving a comment down below. How long have you been holding XCN and what do you know about it? I know there's a lot of people out there that have been trying to figure out information. So people that know the information, definitely share it down in the comments below for others to read. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button if this is something you're enjoying. I'm sitting around 80 more subscribers to hit that 5,000 mark. So thank you to anybody that has already done so. You guys are awesome. I really do appreciate it. Now let's keep going into what we're looking at here. And we know that chain.com, it seems to be very outdated. They haven't updated anything. They haven't removed anything. That's a red flag when we think about it. But let's dive into the CEO of chain.com. And his name is Deepak Thapliyal. And there's a lot of mystery and kind of a lot of negativity behind this individual. So let's go ahead and jump into that side of it. So Deepak kind of comes out of nowhere and acquires chain.com. But where did this CEO come from and what's going on? So check out this article. It's from Dirty Bubble Media, but this is older. Keep in mind, it's February 14th of 2022. But again, there's not a lot of recent research on chain.com, Onyx XCN, etc. And their CEO Deepak is very mysterious as we keep going here. So let's check out this article and let's bring some things to people's awareness because it's important to know the CEO behind this company, because you want to make sure this guy is honest and upright, forthcoming and all that. So check out this article real quick. It says, who spends 24 million on an NFT? It says, meet Deepak Thapliyal, the CEO up from nowhere. And as we roll down here, it says on Saturday, 2/13/22, another massive NFT purchase was breathlessly hyped on social media. CryptoPunk 5822 alien CryptoPunk was sold for 8,000 Ethereum, which is equivalent to the time was $23.7 million. 5822 was purchased by Deepak Thapliyal, CEO of Chain, who previously gained notoriety for paying $4.5 million for a Mega Mutants Serum NFT in the early January 2022. So why is that important and who really cares what the CEO is buying? Well, if this guy is somebody who could be a grifter, I'm not accusing him of that because I don't know the guy personally. There's not a lot of hard evidence to come out and say that it is. There is a lot of speculation, and people in the crypto community really kind of think this guy is just a grifter, a rug puller, and likes to make the money and go make it for himself, right? So that's the kind of the vibe for it. And as we look at those stories and we look at chain.com not being updated, and then we start to look at Onyx XCN still listing chain.com on their actual website, they're showing some kind of affiliation with this company. Is this concerning? And this is where I put it back in your court and for you to do your own research. I'm not suggesting you do anything with your money on this channel. That's not my place. I'm just here to give this information. But let's keep reading on. I want to bring you down to the bottom of this article. And if anybody wants to read it yourself, my research is in my description. So please, please, please always use my research so you can see this information for yourself and you can make your own judgment. But let's read the conclusion of this article because it shines more light on this individual and kind of the mysterious aura, if you will, around him. So check it out. It says conclusion. As usual, Altura the blockchain leaves us more questions than answers. While we can show a close relationship between Chain and Bittrex, we don't know the origin or extent of the relationship. We know that Mr. Thapliyal is a big spending CEO, but his origins and path to joining Chain remains mysterious. We also don't know why a new company with their main product still under development would spend $70 million of their CEO's personal wallet to buy NFTs. We don't even know who owns Chain, which is important. We don't know who owns Chain. If Chain was developing consumer-facing products, these NFT purchases might barely make sense as a publicity stunt. However, Chain claims to be focusing on highly technical commercial blockchain solutions. We doubt that a business would be persuaded to partner with Chain because of their CEO spends big on CryptoPunk. If anything, that should be considered a massive red flag. So the question we got to ask ourselves is Onyx XCN tied directly to chain.com? And if they are, do we feel comfortable with this project? I'm sorry if I'm creating any kind of confusion or doubt, but I do want to make sure we're covering both sides of this story here because it's important that you get this side of the story as well. But before we move on I'm going to break down kind of the price of Onyx XCN and kind of give some more things to talk about. I need to clarify something. I made a mistake as I look at my last video and I covered Deepak's background. I used a LinkedIn profile for him, which I thought was Deepak, same name, etc. But apparently this is not the same guy. So I am sorry for anybody that got excited about the Vert USA thing. As I dove into Deepak even more, I realized that it's not that same guy. But let me show you what I was looking at and how I got that conclusion and how I thought that. But on this channel, I do like being transparent and honest with you guys, even though it could be embarrassing on my end. I still need to make sure I'm giving you guys the most accurate information as to what I see as accurate, right? So take a look at your screen here with me. This is how I got them two confused. Maybe it's my Western eyes, you know, from the South, whatever, but check it out. This is the actual Deepak that's from chain.com. And this is the individual that I was using on LinkedIn. And for me, I thought this guy was the same guy. They look very similar. Just thought this guy was maybe older from his old picture. This is younger guy. Maybe this was the newer him, the more older him. But apparently this is not the same guy. So I'm sorry for anybody that was going off of Vert USA's connection. That was a mistake on my end. I fully own it. And I understand if people are upset about that. I'm sorry about it. Let's keep on moving though, and let's look at Onyx XCN on CoinMarketCap. And this is where people are starting to say that XCN is just another meme coin, a rug pull, exit liquidity, just a pump. And as we look at Deepak's background, chain being very mysterious and not updating their information, that raises that question, is that true? And this is what we need to figure out here. So let's look at Onyx on CoinMarketCap. I'm not going to go through the stats, but I do want to go through the 1 year look on the graph so you can see what's going on and why people were thinking that. So if we come back right over here to the peak in the 1 year on January 26, 2025, which is almost exactly a year ago, you'll see this giant spike up to nearly 3 cents, and it's been steadily declining from that point on. And of course, the market has been down, and a lot of people are saying, well, that's just the market play, which is possible, right? And that is possible. Well, let's look at the overall for the entirety of the project, and you can see that it has been very much a flat line after this drop right here. We lose in 2022. Keep in mind, this is when all that is transferring over. 2022 era, that's where chain.com, new CEO coming in. As you see, it's just flat lines for a long time, all the way to 2024. Then it gets hype again around the 1st of January 2025. It's getting hyped up again and steadily falling off. So as we're looking at this, we need to ask ourselves, is this just another pump coin? Are people out there pumping and dumping? That's up to you to decide, but this is the information I have on Onyx XCN. I do question its validity behind it. I personally own some as well, just because there has been a lot of hype behind it and a lot of mysterious behind it. What I have invested in Onyx XCN, it's something I'm willing to lose, and that's the key here. If you're investing in a project you're not certain about, please make sure it's the money that you're willing to lose should it go wrong. Hopefully you pull out if it starts going the negative way before you get rug pulled, but always make sure you're okay with losing that money, especially with a mysterious project such as this. High risk, high reward, high risk. Also, you could be screwed over pretty quick. But what's interesting about Onyx XCN. Now let's look at just Onyx XCN. Let's remove chain. Let's move the connection between the two. They're still posting. They're still updating on X. And here's one from January 20th. It says who's been keeping track of Goliath updates. Most importantly, who's been testing. And it says, many calculations led to victory and a few calculations led to defeat. But we're looking at them still posting, still hyping Onyx AI. They're still hyping Goliath. So is this project just now getting started? Is it being rebranded, or is it just continuing the hype, the FOMO, the FUD to pump and dump on you? And let's give a quick look at Onyx XI. I know I'm running a little over here, but let's look at, not Onyx XI. Let's look at Goliath and kind of give an idea what Goliath is doing. Just a quick overview to see what they plan on doing this project and what it's providing for us. So it says, welcome to Goliath. Check out your screen. It says the future in secure, scalable, distributed infrastructure. What is Goliath? Goliath is a public network, decentralized governance framework architected to meet the technical, regulatory, and operational requirements of mainstream market adoption. Built with the enterprise-grade capabilities at its core, Goliath delivers lightning-fast performance, uncompromising security, native token XCN, smart contract support, decentralized governance, enterprise-ready. So as we look at all this and we put all this together, you tell me what you think down in the comments. Is XCN just a rug pull, or is this a very mysterious project that's going to blow up in the future as we start building out Goliath. It's up in the air. I know I probably raised more questions than answered, but I do like being transparent. I don't want to mislead anybody. That is very important to me on this channel. If I make a mistake, I will own this mistake if I catch it, or if you guys call me out on it, which I appreciate because this is a community. So let me know what you guys think. That's all I have for you guys in this video, but thank you for watching. Before I let you go, please consider hitting the like button, leaving a comment, let me know what you think of the project, and please hit that subscribe button if you found this interesting. But as always, take care of yourself, take care of the people around you, and become that change you want to see. I will see you on the next one.